Hey guys, it's Steph. Here is a quick tutorial on how I do my sermon reels so it can be easy for you guys. It takes about 20 minutes on average, I think, probably less the more you do it. And let's get started. So here I'm just opening a new project in CapCut. And yes, I do use CapCut Desktop. I find it's easiest. And I'm just dragging that section of the sermon that is already uploaded in Google Drive, and I'm analyzing it and doing the transcript based editing. And that's really the key for CapCut Desktop. That's why I find it so much easier to use than the mobile app, because it's just so easily able to edit everything. Ignore my music. And I already looked at this section while I was recording it on Sunday, and I knew that it was in this section was a sermon point that I wanted to emphasize. And I thought, oh man, that would be really good reel content. So I'm just looking for it and cutting out what I know will not be essential. Now, there could still be multiple reels within this 9-minute section, but I'm just going to do one for now and eliminating what I know is good information, but excess, like not the main point. Here I am deleting the dead space, but I don't delete all dead space because some of the dead space, like the 0.6 seconds, is actually feeling more natural in his speaking tone. And here I'm just looking for when he does a good complete point. He can make a good point, but we want it to sound complete and kind of final near the end. And that can take some time. And normally I would have already adjusted this before, but I wanted him to have his head a little bit higher up. And if you think it's needed, go ahead. But if you do that, you got to remember, if you're going to do it for one clip, you got to do it for them all. And so I did that already on a pre-edited clip. And so now I'm just going to apply those same numbers, the 106%, to the rest of it before I continue editing. It's always important to fix any audio issues or adjust the video to your preference before you start cutting it up, because then you have to do it for every single little cut, and that can be a lot. When I do these cuts, I want to make sure that it sounds a little natural between the cuts when it's jumping from a big space like that. And so I do double check to make sure that it sounds natural when space has been taken out and extra words. And here I'm kind of just looking for a good ending because, again, we don't want the reel too long. We want under 2 minutes, about 60 seconds to 90 seconds, really. And I'm just looking for a good ending. And I think we're going to end with "That's good news." It's always really important to go over the reel itself to make sure it sounds natural, to make sure it sounds good. If there's something you find, oh, that's an extra point, it's not necessary, or it kind of confuses out of context, it's always good to double check. Please always do. Okay, so now I have my clip, and what I'm doing is I'm going to hit range, and I grouped them together, and then we're going to add captions. So here on the sidebar, there's captions, there's auto captions. You'll see that there's also templates, but we do the auto captions. And here are the captions that pop up. When doing captions, we're doing a specific font, which you can see me looking up, which is Montserrat. And there's a couple of versions of it, but we want that thick, chunky one. And we want it moved up, and so we can see it near the middle, because remember, it's going to have captions, it's going to have, the likes, the shares, all the other buttons on the side, so we want it to still be visible when all of the stuff around Instagram is around it. And here I am changing the opacity and blurriness of the shadow behind it. If you go back, then you can see I'm working on the shadow. And I want it to be significant so that it's lifted, but not dramatic so that it's kind of cartoony. I just want it to stand out enough and not get blurred out by any other white that's in the video, but not too bad. And here I'm just making a text preset. I'm going to call it caption preset Montserrat. And from this, I'm just going over making sure that there are no misspelled words in the captions, which can still happen. Sometimes words get detected as wrong. And after that, I'm going to use some words for emphasis, and I make them this orange. I put it in the hex code as F266OF. That is our official hex code for Garden City. Our Garden City orange is F266OF. And here I'm going to be doing it a couple of times. Bear with me. This I end up doing a couple of almost every other or every single section of captions, but that's just because in his portion, he's saying some pretty significant words, like guilty, judgment, etc. And we want to keep the viewer interested and show the emphasis behind them. So I do that a couple of more times. Sometimes even a phrase like this, all have sinned. And here I'm trying to export. So I'm working on exporting. Go to range, select by clip, reselect the whole thing. You have to do it twice. And then I'm going to rename the reel 12.1, which is December 1st, reel 1. And before I export, I'm going to edit the cover. The front of the video, we'll see what it looks like. Replace from video. This will show you the whole 9-minute video. But you'll see I want to have the thumbnail be from what's actually going to be inside the reel. So that's going to be at the beginning, in this instance. I'm looking for a specific time where his face is up and forward and it is very clear. There's a couple of good options. But also what's important is the wording. You want some words, some captions showing up that are interesting. So you are elsewhere doing your own thing. We want to uncheck the add cover before the beginning, export, and you're good to go. Thanks so much.